Okay. A student with a student. Yes, and? Yes, Nof and Latifa? Okay, student assess other students, yeah? Latifa, yes? Okay, educational activities where students judge the performance of their peers and takes different forms depending on characteristics. Okay, so peer-assisted learnings were started and in 90s. So it is a student-to-student support system. So they have to have good communication skills and academic skills related to their subjects so they can assess the others. So usually if we have a leader for the peer-assisted learning, usually they are trained to do that. They will be chosen from the same class that they belong to. And if we have like the coordinator or the teacher who will coordinate and observe what the leader of the peer-assisted learning doing and giving him or her some feedback on their performance. Sometimes it can be paid. So this can be an example of, I think some of you are doing in the writing center or the speaking center. Salama maybe, yeah? Yes, Salama, you are doing this, yeah? Salama, you are doing the peer-assisted learning? I think the speaking center, yeah? I know there are some students that are doing the peer-assisted learning in writing center or the speaking center. And sometimes with the UGRO also, they have. Yes, now they did it online. Yeah, I saw the email for the peer-assisted learning. But that one, I think it's more for the instructors. Maybe not for the teachers for this time. Okay. So what are the advantages of the peer-assisted learning? So it's usually it gives like, you know, the environment to be better, the teaching and learning environment for the students. With this one, the students can attend the session and ask for specific material that they want to understand. Usually the leader for the PAL try to assist the students and boost their confidence because they will explain whatever they don't understand, so it will be easier for them. So through this, they will learn the complicated concepts easily. Usually the BL leader try to make it simple for the student because they are in the same level. And it's easier because for the students, if they are worried to discuss that with the teacher, they don't understand any concepts, so it will be easier for them to communicate with the PAL leader. So this is the advantages of this type. Problem-based learning. So what do we mean by problem-based learning? Yes? What do we mean by problem-based learning? Okay, students try to solve problems, okay? Okay, so the problem-based learning, usually it's real-world problems, and the student try to solve it. So through the whole process, they acquire and integrate new knowledge. Okay. So through this process, the students will develop critical thinking skills, problem-solving abilities, and communication skills. They will work in groups. They will try to find, search, and evaluate research materials, and also their learning will be more as lifelong learning. Yes, Latifa, it's student-centered activity, which students learn about a subject through experience of solving an open-ended problem, okay? Okay. So the students through this process, as we said, they work in small groups. It can be formally or informally. The students might write reflection, reasoning, they might compare, contrast, and they, at the end, they construct and build their own learning. So through this problem-based learning, it's about real-world problems. The students try to acquire and integrate new knowledge. They develop some skills like thinking, problem solving, communication. They try to search, find, evaluate research materials. And they work like in groups, formally and informally. So they try to reflect and reason and construct their own learning. So from this mind map or diagram, you can see. So there are some principles. So the student can be self-directed learning. They learn through a context. They might collaborate. And also they construct their knowledge. So they can be tutor to do that. They can be group member, board writer, secretary, chairperson, observer. If they do the analysis, they can do brainstorming, concept mapping, mind mapping. So how they do it, these steps. So they start with the first, explore the problem and the context. They will formulate the problem definition, analyze it, restructure it and map it, formulate the learning goals, and then individual research and study. So those are the steps for this method. Okay? Other method is called team-based learning. So as a team, it means as a group. So it's usually small group. So through this team, they prepare outside the classroom, and when they come to the classroom, they apply the knowledge that they discuss and learn and work as a group. So can be an example, the teacher can give them an issue or problem, they will try to solve it. So they will have detailed learning objectives and what they have to do. So the teacher will guide them through the teamwork. So there are 4 principles underlying the team-based learning. That when they choose the group members, they have to think properly and form it. So if we think about their competency, let's say their intellectual talent, we have to manage among all that. The students have to be responsible for their pre-learning and when they work in their teams. So when they have the assignments, those assignments should promote the learning and the team development. That means they have to work together and divide the work. And through the whole process, teamwork, the student will receive some feedback. So usually what happens for the team-based learning that most of the time, maybe one student will not do the work, and that will affect on the whole teamwork. So we have to be careful when we choose any student to be in a team. So what are the 3-step cycle for that? So we start with the preparation, pre-class, before the class. It will be as independent study. So you study at home, you study the basic concepts. Then from the class time, 45 to 75 minutes, what we call it readiness assurance process. So work on simple problems. So it can be start with individual test, then a group, then you try to write, and then tutor clarification if we need. Then the third process is the application exercises. So the work will be more on complicated problems. So it can be 1 to 4 hours from the class time. Application of oriented activities. And then the peer evaluation, the review after the class. So those what the steps. Start from preparation as simple concept, and then peer evaluation after the class with the reviewing. In the middle, ready to work on simple problem and then more and more complex problems. Simple will be from 45 to 70 minutes. More complex from 1 to 4. Okay? So when we have a small group discussion, similar to your class, you are only 3 students in a class, so mostly your discussion is considered as a small group. Is to provide you as students to speak more and receive feedback from the teacher and your peers. It will be easier for the communication and the interaction between the students and the teachers. It can be self-directed for the student and exchange ideas. With this context, if we have a shy students, it will be easier for the teacher to notice and try to promote her and encourage her to discuss and communicate. Usually the students will learn from each other. They will practice more and express their ideas. So usually in any discussion, in any communication, when you have 2 minds is better than 1 mind, 3 minds is better than 2 minds. So that's like in general the idea of the small group discussion. So you discuss through a small group, you interact more, you express your ideas. The teacher will be easier for her or him to encourage the shy students to speak and contribute. And that is better, especially for more complicated sessions. So what are some of the strategies for small group discussions? So here we have some strategies. We have discussed some of them before. So we have the collaborative mind mapping. We have think, pair, share. We have the simple jigsaw. We have the debate. So how we do the collaborative mind mapping? Now we have different programs and applications to do that. So we have the Google Docs, Sheets, MindMeister, and other programs. So it's how we collaborate and write our ideas. Think, pair, share is a collaborative learning strategies in which students work together to solve a problem or answer a question about an assigned reading. This techniques require students to first think individually about a topic or answer a question, and then share ideas with the classroom. So through this strategy, you have to think first, and then you, with your peers, you try to share your ideas. The jigsaw is mostly in a group of 5. Assign each participant brief unique reading for any class or out of class. The group is giving a general topic to discuss, and each participant takes a turn discussing it from the viewpoint of their unique reading. So this is the idea of the simple jigsaw. It's like, taking turn to discuss an idea and give your viewpoints. The debates, we have 2 groups. and they are debating about an idea. Someone can be with the idea and the other can be against the idea. So in this discussion method, the class is divided into two groups of participants who then debate a topic in a reasoned and organized fashion. This could be a formal parliamentary debate or a more simplistic mode. Okay? If we discuss more the flipped classroom projects, so we have to think about it, what we do in class and what we do out of the classroom. So before the class and during the class and after the class. So flipped classroom is an instructional strategy and a type of blended learning. That means online learning with face-to-face learning that reverses the traditional learning environment by delivering instructional content, often online, outside of the classroom. So the idea started with outside the classroom. Before the class, the teacher will explain a concept or idea or a topic through video or online environment. Then, during the class, inside the class, the students will discuss it more through activities and will have more interaction with the teacher. And after the classroom, and that means outside of the classroom, the student will continue to discuss and understand the concept. So they will reach more application and evaluation of the concept. So the idea of the flipped classroom, it starts from outside. The teacher will explain the topic through videos online. Inside the classroom will be the activities. And then after the class will be outside and it will be to go more deep to the topic and the application and evaluation. So this is the flipped classroom project. Okay? Okay, is it clear? Computer-assisted method of teaching. So that means the use of computer technology will be implemented. So usually it helps for the presentation and the assessment of the materials. It encourages the interaction and also promote the educational management and provide more additional learning opportunities. So it means that we use the technology, the computer. We can have some programs, games, presentations all through the computer, and also the assessment as online testing and all that. So it will help also for the interaction, and it's easy for the management of the educational material, the syllabus, through what we have also now like Blackboard and all that. And after that also it is encouraged more opportunities for learning. So you don't learn and study only inside the classroom. You study and you learn more outside the classroom. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this method using the computer and technology? So it motivates the students. It have consistency in the presentation, so you continue and it is more consistent with the presentation. So as a teacher, if you, let's say you start, you can continue with the materials like online and from the Blackboard, and so you don't stop, you continue with the assessment and all that. And it's more like coherent and consistent. With the computer assisted, you can adjust the difficulty level of the activities for the student. For example, if you have students with higher level, so you can give more challenging activities. If you have some students with low level, you can give them activities that suit their competency and level. Through the computer assisted, you can present some concepts, processes, using different type of presentation. You maintain the records of student performance. If you have like testing, whatever, you can record it there. You can provide immediate feedback. So if we have discussion, the student can write their questions and the teacher can answer it immediately. So those are the advantages. The disadvantage is that to buy the equipment and the software, you need money, so it's costly. To develop a task needs time and money sometimes, especially with the creating videos and programs, you have to buy it. Sometimes they're not compatible for every student, especially if some students don't like using the computer, maybe because of health issues, maybe they don't have the internet connection, and maybe sometimes they cannot buy the program that they need or something else. And also it's required training for teaching, especially what is happening now with the pandemic. The Ministry of Education and Higher Education, they try to train the teachers to do the online sessions, and it takes time because some of them don't have it. Some of the students, they don't have the money to buy the iPad and the computer. Some of them don't have internet connection in their homes. So they have different issues. So those some of the disadvantages to this method. Okay? So in general, if we discuss the advantages of the non-traditional teaching method and the disadvantages, yes, can you tell me what are the advantages of non-traditional method? Yes, Salama, Latifa, and no? What do you think? So some of the advantages here are the student can be active participant. When the student discuss and solve some issues, that's mean they try to learn it and it goes to their long-term memory. It improves the teamwork and interpersonal communication skills. Okay, so the disadvantages can be that some students might not be well prepared, and also the teachers. If we have a large group of students, it will not be easy. For example, with the online teaching, some of the issues, as for example, some of the instructors has like 60 or 40 students, so it's not easy for them to interact with everybody. So it depends on some of the online sessions. And also the imbalance among the students. If we have students who are academically strong with others who are less, so as a teacher you try to do your best with different activities to make it balance. Okay. So if we discuss in general regarding the traditional and the non-traditional teaching through the content. So for the traditional teaching, usually the students will study the same curriculum, same topics at the same time. The student will have limited information. It's based on maybe the textbook or what the teacher give them or provide. Usually the topics are isolated. They are not connected. So the students memorize the facts, and sometimes it's not connected to the real world situation. However, for the modern way of teaching, the teacher and students have different choices. They can study different curriculums. They can get unlimited information from different sources. Usually the ideas and the topics are connected between the subjects because they are merged together. The students try to analyze, evaluate, synthesize different kinds of materials, so they apply to real world situation. If we think about and compare about the traditional and the modern way of teaching from the instruction side, so for the traditional, the teacher gives the information and try to help the students to acquire the skills and knowledge. The teaching process is more as instructive, giving instruction. The student will complete short, isolated activities and lessons with specific skills and content. However, with the modern teaching, the teacher tries to facilitate and give the students more opportunity to learn and construct the knowledge and apply skills. The teaching is more constructive process, so the students and the teacher try to help them to construct their knowledge. The activities are connected to long-term goals, which build deep conceptual understanding and proficient strategy use. So these are the differences in instruction among the two types of methods. Okay, so if we think about the traditional and the modern, and we think about the classroom environment. So for the traditional, usually the students are passive. They work individually. For the modern, usually the students are more active. They might have different learning centers, different activities to do. They collaborate with peers, experts, community members, teachers, so it is with real life connection. For the assessment, for the traditional teaching method, they might use the paper and pencil to do their exams. They work alone, silent. So they will do the test and then they might ask any kind of questions. Usually the teacher responsible for the learner learning, especially as in schools. So the students, they try and focus only on grades usually and to gain rewards. For the modern way, learners know ahead of time how they will be assessed, have input in the criterion by which they will be assessed. They receive feedback from the teacher and their peers throughout a unit and have multiple opportunities to assess their own learning. This is what you are doing in your task. You have syllabus, you have criteria, you have what you have to do in the task, you have time to discuss it with the teacher, with your peers, and work in groups. So the responsibility is both in the teacher and learner sides, because as I know, you try to achieve the outcomes. So based on what the student want to learn, so they are more interested and they involve more in the activities. So they have more intrinsic motivation and effort to learn what they want. So for the traditional teaching methods, it's more direct instruction and lecture. The student learn and observe. For the modern, it's more with hands-on activities. So that means they do it as students. It's more with inquiry, discovery, more with group activities. So in general, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the traditional or you prefer the modern teaching methods? Yes? Latifa, Noof, Salama. So what do you prefer? Okay, because you have your task for the both classes and you have to think about those modern teaching methods. Okay? So as conclusion, Traditional teaching methods have been used for centuries to teach students. Teaching today generations call for a change in education approach from conventional to a more comprehensive, communicative, and technological way. Traditional teaching methods make students uninterested in class, discouraged, bored, stop trying in accomplishing task giving, do poorly in tests, and make learning passive. So to overcome such issues, the modern methods have been introduced. These modern teaching methods makes teaching and learning more interesting. Thank you.